Commander Vexala stood on the bridge of his warship, watching the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. Earth. The report said it was a young world with primitive technology. The humans had only managed basic spaceflight to their moon. They had no weapons that could threaten the Korthax Galactic Empire. "Sir, we are entering their solar system," his second officer announced. The creature's forearms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. Vexala nodded his large head. He had done this many times before. The Empire had conquered 300 worlds in the last 1,000 years. Each time the process was the same. Show up with overwhelming force, demand surrender. If they refused, destroy a few cities. They always surrendered after that. "Begin standard first contact protocol," he ordered. The communication officer, a thin being with purple skin, activated the universal translator. The Empire had perfected the technology centuries ago. It could decode any language within minutes of listening to broadcasts. "Channel open, Commander." Vexala straightened his uniform. His species, the Korthax, stood 3 meters tall with gray scales and yellow eyes. Most primitive species found them terrifying. That always helped with negotiations. "Attention, inhabitants of Earth, I am Commander Vexala of the Korthax Galactic Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration into our empire. You will surrender all governmental control within 1 rotation of your planet. Failure to comply will result in demonstration of our power. You have 1 hour to respond." The bridge fell silent. They waited. Usually the primitive world sent back panicked messages, begging for mercy or asking questions. Sometimes they tried to negotiate. The foolish ones stayed silent, thinking they could hide. An hour passed. Then 2. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," the communication officer said, his voice confused. "Put it through." A simple text message appeared on the screen. 2 words in the Empire's own language. "Try us." The bridge crew looked at each other. No one had ever responded like this. "They must not understand," the second officer suggested. "Perhaps the translation failed." Vexala frowned. "Send the message again. Include video this time. Let them see who they're dealing with." They broadcast again, this time with full video. Vexala made sure to show his impressive height, his sharp teeth, the massive warship's bridge behind him. The message was the same: surrender or face destruction. This time Earth's response came quickly. A video transmission from what appeared to be a simple office. A human sat behind a desk. The creature was small, barely 2 meters tall, with no scales, no claws, just soft pink skin and fur on its head. "Commander Vexala," the human said in perfect Korthax. "I am General Patricia Chen of Earth Defense Command. We have received your message. We decline your offer to join your empire. Please leave our solar system immediately." The bridge erupted in laughter. Several crew members had to hold their sides from laughing so hard. "They decline?" The weapons officer gasped between laughs. "Do they know we have 500 warships?" "Show them what declining means," Vexala ordered. "Target their moon. Fire a warning shot." The weapons officer's tentacles danced over his controls. A beam of purple energy shot from the warship toward Earth's moon. It was meant to create a crater visible from Earth's surface, a demonstration of power. The beam never reached its target. Instead, it hit something invisible about halfway between Earth and its moon. The energy spread across what looked like a massive shield, rippling like water before disappearing. "What was that?" Vexala demanded. "Scanning now, sir," the science officer reported. "I'm reading. This can't be right. There's an energy field surrounding the entire planet. The power requirements would be what? Impossible for a pre-FTL civilization, sir." Vexala stood up. "Send in the scout ships. I want close readings." 3 small, fast ships broke away from the main fleet. They streaked toward Earth at maximum speed. As they entered the upper atmosphere, their pilots reported normal conditions. Then suddenly all 3 went silent. "Scout team, report," the communication officer called. Scout team respond. "Nothing." "Sir, I'm reading their emergency beacons," the science officer said. They're on Earth's surface. Intact but powered down. Shot down? No, sir. It's like something just turned them off. All systems went dead simultaneously." Vexala paced the bridge. This was not going according to plan. Earth should not have shields. They should not be able to disable Empire technology. "Sir, we're being scanned," the science officer announced, panic in his voice. The scan origin is everywhere. It's coming from Earth's entire surface. Shield up, Vexala ordered, but it was too late. Every screen on the bridge flickered. For a moment, strange symbols appeared. Earth writing. Then their own systems translated it. We said no. The main computer began speaking in a calm human voice. Korthax Empire vessel, you are in violation of Earth sovereign space. We have demonstrated our defensive capabilities. We recommend you leave. How are you doing this? Vexala shouted at the screen. Commander, you made a critical error, the voice continued. You assumed that because we had not achieved faster-than-light travel, we were primitive. We have been listening to your Empire's communications for 200 years. Every battle you fought, we studied. Every technology you discussed, we analyzed. Every weakness you revealed, we noted. The bridge lights flickered. Your scouts are safe. We have placed them in comfortable containment on our surface. They will be returned when you leave. This is not a negotiation. Vexala felt something he had not experienced in decades. Uncertainty. You're bluffing. You're one planet. We have 500 ships. Yes, you do, the voice agreed. Would you like to know what happened to the Xantor Empire's fleet when they had 600 ships? Or the Prelix Confederation's 800? We know, Commander. We've been watching, learning, preparing. Preparing for what? For bullies like you. The transmission ended. Vexala stood in the sudden silence of his bridge. His crew waited for orders. Sir? The second officer asked quietly. Send a message to Fleet Command, Vexala said slowly. Tell them we have encountered unexpected resistance. Should we attack, sir? Vexala looked at the blue planet on the screen. It looked so peaceful, so harmless. But something was very wrong here. No primitive world could do what Earth had just done. The humans had technology they shouldn't have. Knowledge they couldn't possess. Not yet, he decided. First, we learn what we're really dealing with. Send a diplomatic team. Sir, we don't send diplomats. We send demands. Then we'll send demands with a diplomat, Vexala snapped. He was buying time to think. In 300 conquests, no one had ever simply said no and made it stick. No one had ever disabled Empire scouts without firing a shot. No one had ever hacked into their communication systems. As he watched Earth spin slowly on the screen, Vexala had the disturbing feeling that the humans had been waiting for them. Not just waiting, preparing. But how could they know the Empire was coming? How could they develop defenses against weapons they had never seen? Sir, I'm detecting something else, the science officer said nervously. There are structures throughout their solar system. Small, hidden, but powered. Hundreds of them. Defensive platforms? Unknown, sir. But they're all aimed at us. Vexala sat back in his command chair. For the first time in his long career, he wasn't sure what to do next. The Empire's standard playbook had failed completely. Earth had called their bluff. Maintain position, he ordered, and send that message to Fleet Command. Tell them, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Tell them Earth is not what we expected. Outside the viewports, Earth continued its slow rotation, blue and white and beautiful, and somehow impossibly dangerous. The diplomatic shuttle approached Earth slowly. Inside, Ambassador Kretok reviewed his orders one more time. He had been chosen because his species, the Volanti, looked less threatening than the Korthax. They were smaller, with blue skin and large eyes that most species found trustworthy. Remember, Commander Vexala had told him, we need information. Find out how they have this technology. Find out what they know about us. The shuttle passed through Earth's shield without problem. The humans had sent coordinates for a landing site in a place called Geneva. As they descended, Kretok saw his first real glimpse of Earth's surface. Cities sprawled across continents connected by networks of lights. But something was wrong. The cities looked too organized, too uniform. They followed patterns he had seen before in military installations. The shuttle landed on a simple platform. A small group of humans waited for them. Kretok noticed they showed no fear, no nervousness. They looked almost bored. Ambassador Kretok, a human woman, stepped forward. I am Director Sarah Martinez. Welcome to Earth, she extended her hand. Kretok had studied this gesture, a handshake, a sign of peaceful greeting. He took her hand carefully, afraid of hurting the fragile human. Instead, her grip was surprisingly firm. Please follow me, she said. They walked into a simple building. No grand halls, no impressive architecture meant to intimidate. Just a plain conference room with a wooden table and chairs. Kretok found this unsettling. Every other species tried to impress the Empire with their best buildings, their finest decorations. Earth showed them nothing special at all. Please sit, Director Martinez said. Would you like some water, coffee? We're not sure what your species drinks, but we can synthesize most liquids. Water is fine, Kretok said carefully. A human brought water in a simple glass. Kretok tested it with his portable scanner. Pure H2O, nothing else. He took a sip. Now then, Martinez said, sitting across from him. Your commander wants to know how we have advanced technology. That's why you're really here, isn't it? Kretok tried to hide his surprise. We came to discuss terms— No, you didn't. Martinez smiled. It was not a threatening expression, but somehow it made Kretok nervous. Your empire doesn't discuss. You demand. You're here because we surprised you and now you're worried. You are one planet against the entire galactic empire. Kretok said, trying to regain control. Whatever defense you have shown, it cannot stand against our full force. Would you like to know a secret, Ambassador? Martinez leaned forward. We've been waiting for you for a very long time. She touched something on the table and a holographic display appeared. It showed a timeline stretching back 200 years. Year 2157 Earth calendar. We detected our first interstellar transmission. Not meant for us, just random chatter between Empire ships. We couldn't understand it at first, but we learned. We built better receivers. We listened to everything. The display showed waves of signals reaching Earth. Year 2189. We decoded our first full conversation. 2 Empire commanders discussing the conquest of the Prelix system. We learned about your weapons, your strategies, your weaknesses. Did you know your shield frequencies can be disrupted by a specific quantum signature? You mentioned it once in passing about 50 years ago. Kretok's throat felt dry despite the water. Year 2234. We intercepted technical manuals for your FTL drives. We couldn't build them, we lacked the materials, but we understood the principles. More importantly, we understood how to jam them. That's impossible, Kretok said. You would need what? Time. We had 200 years. Motivación? You gave us that every time you destroyed another civilization. Resources? Earth is remarkably rich in rare elements. She changed the display. Now it showed Earth from space, but overlaid with thousands of red dots. Every dot is a hidden facility. Underground cities. Orbital platforms disguised as debris. Deep ocean installations. For 2 centuries, every human has worked toward one goal. Being ready when you arrived. Every human. Kretok couldn't hide his disbelief. We're remarkably good at uniting against a common threat, Martinez said. When we decoded your first conquest, when we saw what you did to the Altari homeworld, every nation on Earth agreed. No politics, no borders, no divisions, just survival. She stood and walked to the window. Outside, the city of Geneva looked peaceful. Would you like to know what really scared us, Ambassador? It wasn't your weapons or your ships. It was your pattern. You always attack the same way. Demand surrender, demonstrate force, crush resistance. You've done it 300 times without changing. That predictability became your weakness. You cannot defeat the entire empire with tricks and shields, Kretok said, but his voice lacked confidence. Martinez turned back to him. We don't want to defeat you. We just want you to leave us alone. She touched the table again. This time the display showed something that made Kretok's blood freeze. It was a recording from inside an Empire ship, from inside Commander Vexala's own bridge dated just hours ago. How? He whispered. Your computer systems are 300 years old, Martinez explained. Oh, you've upgraded the hardware, but the base code is ancient, full of holes that no one else could exploit because they didn't have time to study it. We had 2 centuries. You're in our systems? We're in every system in your fleet. Right now. Watching. Listening. We could turn off your life support, vent your atmosphere, overload your reactors. But we haven't. Do you know why? Kretok shook his head. Because we're not conquerors. We're not like you. We studied your empire, and we decided we wanted nothing to do with it. So we prepared a simple message. Leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. The empire doesn't accept defiance, Kretok said. They'll send more ships. We're counting on it, Martinez said. In fact, we want them to. She brought up a new display. It showed the entire galaxy, with the Empire's territory marked in red. But there were thousands of small blue dots scattered throughout. Every enslaved species in your empire has resistance groups, small, hidden, desperate. They've been sending signals for help for centuries. Random broadcasts into space, hoping anyone would hear them. Kretok began to understand. You heard them. We heard them all. We couldn't help them. We were too far away, too primitive. but we could do something else. We could learn everything about your empire from those who hate you most, and now we can give them something they've never had before. What? Hope. Martinez touched the table one more time. The display showed a technical schematic, a weapon design, but not one Kretok recognized. This is a quantum field disruptor. It can shut down any Empire technology within a light-year radius. The science is complex, but the device itself is simple to build with common materials. Any enslaved world could construct one in secret. You wouldn't dare spread such technology, Kretok said. The Empire would trace it back to Earth, would they? Martinez smiled again. How? The design is already being transmitted on frequencies only the resistance groups monitor, encrypted with codes we learned from them. By tomorrow, every enslaved world will have these plans. And here's the beautiful part. The Empire won't know until they try to collect their next tribute. Kretok stood up quickly. This is an act of war. No, Martinez said calmly. It's an act of liberation. And it's already done. The transmissions went out an hour ago while we've been talking. Why tell me this? Because we want the Empire to know Earth did this. We want them to know that one primitive world just gave 300 enslaved civilizations the means to fight back. An ambassador? She paused. We want them to know this is just the beginning. Kretok backed toward the door. He needed to report this immediately. Oh, one more thing, Martinez called after him. You might want to check your shuttle's navigation system when you get back. We've made some improvements. It will only fly to coordinates we approve now. Don't worry. We'll let you return to your fleet. We want you to deliver our message. As Kretok hurried to his shuttle, his mind raced. Earth hadn't just defended itself. It had weaponized information, turned the Empire's own conquests against it. 200 years of secret preparation, and no one had suspected. The shuttle lifted off, and just as Martinez had said, the navigation system only showed one destination, the Empire fleet. As Earth grew smaller behind them, Kretok realized the humans had planned every moment of this encounter. They wanted the Empire to know exactly what they were capable of. And for the first time in the Empire's 1,000-year history, Kretok wondered if they had finally met their match. Commander Vexala smashed his fist on the command console. The report from Ambassador Kretok had sent rage through the entire fleet. Earth had not just defied them. The humans had infected the Empire's conquered worlds with dangerous ideas and weapons. 500 ships, he growled to his assembled fleet commanders on the main screen. We will crush this planet into dust. No more games, no more diplomacy. Commander, Admiral Thrax spoke from the flagship. The old Korthax warrior had conquered 50 worlds himself. Perhaps we should wait for reinforcements. If Earth truly has been preparing for 2 centuries, they are one world, Vexala roared. We are the Galactic Empire. Form attack pattern Sigma. All ships advance. 500 warships moved toward Earth in perfect formation. Each ship bristled with weapons that had devastated countless worlds. Planet cracker bombs, antimatter cannons, gravity weapons that could tear continents apart. The greatest concentration of firepower the Empire had ever assembled against a single planet. As they approached Earth's shield barrier, Vexala gave the order. All ships concentrate fire on Sector 7. Punch through their shield. Thousands of energy beams struck the same point on Earth's invisible barrier. The shield glowed, rippled, and held. Increase power, Vexala ordered. The barrage continued for 10 minutes. The shield never weakened. Sir, the weapons officer reported. Energy readings suggest their shield is actually absorbing our fire. It's getting stronger. Before Vexala could respond, Earth struck back. The moon, Earth's lone natural satellite, suddenly revealed its true nature. What had appeared to be craters opened like massive eyes. Weapon platforms hidden for decades under lunar dust emerged. The entire moon had been converted into a fortress. Beams of green energy shot from the moon toward the Empire fleet. Where they struck, strange things happened. Ships didn't explode, they simply stopped. All power failed instantly. Life support engines, weapons, even emergency backup systems went dark. Evasive maneuvers, Vexala shouted, but it was too late for many ships. 40 Empire vessels drifted powerless in space within the first minute. Then Earth itself joined the battle. The planet's surface erupted with light, not from cities being destroyed as Vexala had expected, but from weapons emerging from hidden underground silos. Missiles, but unlike any the Empire had seen. They moved impossibly fast, changing direction at angles that should have torn them apart. "Point defense systems," Vexala commanded. The Empire's defensive lasers fired, trying to destroy the incoming missiles. They hit nothing. The missiles seemed to exist in multiple places at once, quantum shadows that confused targeting systems. When the missiles reached the fleet, they didn't explode. Instead, they attached to the hulls of Empire ships and began to dissolve them. Nanobots, microscopic robots eating through the strongest armor in the galaxy like acid through paper. "Pull back," Admiral Thrax shouted. "All ships retreat to safe distance." But there was no safe distance. Earth's weapons had incredible range. The moon's beam weapons reached out further and further, disabling ship after ship. The quantum missiles pursued fleeing vessels, ignoring all countermeasures. Then something rose from Earth's Pacific Ocean. Vexala watched in horror as a ship emerged. No, not a ship. It was too large. It was a floating city, water streaming off its hull as anti-gravity systems lifted it into space. Then another rose from the Atlantic. Another from the Arctic ice. "How many?" he asked the scanner officer. 12, sir. 12 city ships, each one 5 times the size of our largest dreadnought." The city ships didn't attack immediately. They formed a circle around Earth, and Vexala saw energy building between them. They were creating a network, linking their power systems. "Commander, I'm detecting something else," the science officer said. "Mars is powering up." "What?" The fourth planet in Earth's system, the red one that had seemed dead and worthless, suddenly showed massive energy signatures. Its surface split open, revealing more weapons, more shields, more impossible technology. "Jupiter's moons too, sir. They're all armed. The entire solar system is a weapon." Vexala realized the truth. Earth hadn't just fortified their planet. They had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. Every moon, every planet, even the asteroids had been weaponized. "Sir, we've lost 200 ships," his second officer reported. "They're not destroyed, just disabled. The humans are being careful not to kill anyone." "Why?" Vexala asked, confused by this mercy. His answer came as a transmission from Earth. General Patricia Chen appeared on the screen, the same human who had first responded to them. "Commander Vexala," she said calmly as battle raged around her image, "you have now lost 40% of your fleet. We could destroy you all, but we choose not to. Every disabled ship will be returned to you once you retreat. Every captured crew member will be released unharmed. We are not murderers. We are defenders. You cannot win against the entire Empire," Vexala shouted. "We will send 1,000 ships." 10,000. "Yes, you probably will," Chen agreed. "But consider this, we've been preparing for 200 years for this one battle. How long do you think we can hold out? A year, 10 years? Meanwhile, every world you've conquered now has the weapons we gave them. How many fleets can you spare to fight us while defending against 300 rebellions?" As if to emphasize her point, Vexala's communication officer turned, his face pale. "Sir, we're receiving distress signals. The Altari system is in revolt. The Prelix colonies have destroyed their garrison. The Zephyr worlds have activated some kind of quantum field. All Empire technology in their system has failed." Chen continued. "We studied your Empire's history, Commander. You expand by concentrating force, overwhelming one world at a time. But you've never fought on multiple fronts. You've never faced coordinated resistance. We changed that. Earth lit the match, but the fire is spreading on its own now. The city ships fired. Beams of golden energy struck the Empire fleet, but these weapons were different. They didn't destroy or disable. Instead, they pushed. The Empire ships found themselves being moved backward, pushed away from Earth by an irresistible force. Full engines, Vexala ordered. Maximum thrust. It didn't matter. The golden beams pushed harder than their engines could fight. The entire Empire fleet was being swept away from Earth like leaves in a storm. "Commander," Chen said, "we call this the solar wind defense. We can push you all the way back to your own territory if necessary, or you can retreat with dignity. Choose." Vexala looked at his tactical display. 300 of his 500 ships were now disabled or being pushed away. Earth had taken no damage at all. Their shields hadn't even weakened. "If we leave," he said through gritted teeth, "what stops you from attacking the Empire?" "Nothing," Chen admitted. "But we won't. We have no interest in conquest. We simply want to be left alone. However, we will continue to broadcast defensive technologies to any world that wants them. The age of the Empire forcing its will on others is ending, Commander. Not because we're destroying you, but because we're giving others the choice to say no. Another transmission came through, this time from Admiral Thrax. His ship was one of those disabled, drifting powerless. Commander, my crew is safe. The humans have provided emergency life support through some kind of energy field. They really aren't trying to kill us. Vex'Elah had never retreated from a battle. In 300 conquests, the Empire had never withdrawn. But as he watched more of his ships being gently but firmly pushed away from Earth, he realized he had no choice. All ships, he said, the words tasting bitter. Retreat to Rally Point Alpha. The ships that still had power turned and fled. Those that were disabled waited, and true to Chen's word, small Earth vessels approached them. Not to board or capture, but to attach temporary power units that would let them limp back to Empire space. As the battered fleet regrouped, Vex'Elah looked back at Earth. The blue planet spun peacefully, its city ships returning to the oceans, its moon fortress covering itself with dust again. They were hiding their weapons, returning to their disguise as a harmless world. But Vex'Elah knew the truth now. Earth was the most dangerous planet the Empire had ever encountered. Not because of their weapons or shields, but because of what they represented. They had shown the galaxy that the Empire could be defied, could be defeated, could be denied. And that idea, spreading now through 300 conquered worlds, was more destructive than any weapon. The Imperial Palace on Korthax Prime had never seen such chaos. Messages flooded in from every corner of the Empire's territory. Rebellions, uprisings, and systems simply going dark. The Council of Supremes, the 5 beings who ruled the Galactic Empire, sat in emergency session. 17 worlds in open revolt, Supreme Zaktor read from the report. 43 have destroyed their tribute collectors. 9 entire sectors have declared independence. All because of Earth, Supreme Vex'Mora hissed. She was Commander Vex'Elah's sister, and the family shame burned hot in her chest. We must respond with absolute force, Supreme Thala declared. Crush Earth and the rebellions will collapse. With what ships? Supreme Cole asked. Half our fleet is defending loyal worlds. The other half is trying to reclaim rebel systems. Commander Vex'Elah's defeat proved that Earth cannot be taken with conventional forces. Then we use the Omega Protocol, Supreme Zaktor said quietly. The room fell silent. The Omega Protocol had only been used twice in the Empire's history. It involved their ultimate weapon, a device that could destabilize a star, causing it to go supernova. It would destroy not just Earth, but their entire solar system. The other species are watching, Supreme Nal warned. If we destroy Earth that way, we prove they were right about us. We prove we are tyrants who rule through fear alone. We are tyrants, Supreme Vex'Mora said. Fear is how we've ruled for 1,000 years. And Earth removed that fear, Supreme Cole pointed out. They showed everyone we can be beaten. 3 days passed as they debated. During those 3 days, the situation grew worse. The quantum field disruptors Earth had shared were appearing everywhere. Entire Empire fleets would arrive at rebel worlds only to find their technology useless. Ships drifted helplessly while former slaves dismantled them with primitive tools. Finally, the Council made their decision. They would use the Omega Protocol, but not as a simple attack. They would make it a public execution, broadcast across the galaxy. Every world would watch Earth's sun explode. Fear would return. Supreme Vex'Mora personally commanded the Omega fleet, 100 ships escorting the Starkiller weapon. It was an ancient device created by the Empire's founders, a black sphere the size of a small moon, covered in symbols from a long-dead civilization the Empire had conquered millennia ago. As they approached Earth's solar system, Vex'Mora broadcast on all channels. Inhabitants of Earth and citizens of the Empire, you will now witness the price of defiance. Earth's sun will be destroyed. Their entire system will burn. This is the fate of any who oppose us. The response from Earth came immediately. Not from General Chen this time, but from an old human male with white hair and kind eyes. I am Professor David Kim, speaking for Earth Science Council, he said. Supreme Vex'Mora, are you familiar with quantum entanglement? What does that matter? Vex'Mora snarled. Everything, Kim replied. You see, 200 years ago, when we first learned of your empire, we began a project. We called it the Lifeline Initiative. We knew that someday you might try to destroy our sun, so we prepared. A holographic display appeared next to Kim. It showed Earth's sun, but surrounded by thousands of small satellites. These are quantum stabilizers, Kim explained. They're entangled with similar devices we've hidden throughout the galaxy. In fact, Supreme Vexmora, there's one in your own sun. Would you like to know what happens if you destroy ours? Vexmora's blood went cold. You're lying, am I? Kim asked. Let me show you something. The display changed. It showed a map of the Empire's core worlds. Each sun had a small blue dot next to it. Every star that warms an Empire world has one of our devices, Kim said. They've been there for decades, dormant, undetectable. But if our sun dies, they activate. Quantum entanglement means they'll experience the same destabilization. Not enough to destroy your stars, but enough to cause solar flares. Massive ones. Your worlds would burn just as ours would. Impossible, Vexmora shouted. You could never have placed devices in our territory. We didn't, Kim agreed. Your enslaved workers did. Every species you conquered. Every being you forced to labor in your shipyards and factories. Some of them were our allies. They placed the devices for us one piece at a time, hidden in regular maintenance equipment. It took 50 years, but we were patient. The Supreme's communication officer spoke up. Supreme, we're detecting energy signatures near our sun. They match what he's describing, Kim continued. But here's what you really need to understand. We don't want to use this weapon. We call it mutually assured destruction. If you destroy Earth, you destroy yourselves. But if you leave us alone, those devices remain dormant forever. You hold the entire Empire hostage? Vexmora asked in disbelief. No, Kim said sadly. We hold ourselves hostage together. That's the point. Neither of us can destroy the other without destroying ourselves. It forces us to find another way. Vexmora ordered scans of their own sun. The device was there exactly as Kim had described. Small, hidden, but absolutely real. The science officers confirmed it. If activated, it would cause solar flares that would sterilize the inner planets of their system. This is insane, Vexmora said. This is survival, Kim corrected. We knew we could never match your military might. So we created a situation where military might doesn't matter. You have a choice, Supreme. Fire your weapon and we all die together. Or put it away and we all live together. The Empire doesn't negotiate with primitives.
Then don't negotiate, Kim said simply.
Just leave. Go back to your Empire. Deal with your rebellions. We'll stay here on Earth. We won't attack you, won't invade your territory, but we will keep broadcasting defensive technologies to anyone who wants them. Eventually, you'll realize that ruling through fear is harder than ruling through cooperation. Vexmora wanted to call his bluff. Every instinct screamed to fire the Starkiller and end this humiliation. But the scan results were clear. Earth really had planted devices in Empire suns. The humans had turned the entire galaxy into a bomb that would explode if anyone lit the fuse. Supreme, her tactical officer said quietly, we're receiving urgent messages from Korthax Prime. 3 more sectors have declared independence. They're requesting all available ships return immediately. Vexmora looked at the Starkiller weapon, then at Earth floating peacefully in the distance. The humans had won, but not through strength or conquest. They had won by making victory impossible for everyone. How long have you been planning this? She asked Kim. Since the day we first heard about your empire, Kim replied. We knew we had one chance to get it right. No second attempts, no room for error. So we prepared for every possibility, every strategy you might use. We studied not just your technology, but your psychology. You've ruled through fear for so long. You've forgotten that there are other ways to survive. The professor's image flickered and was replaced by General Chen. Supreme Vexmora, Chen said formally. Earth makes you this offer. Leave our system. Never return. In exchange, we will not activate the quantum devices. We will not attack your worlds. But we will continue to offer sanctuary to any species seeking freedom. Earth's borders are permanently closed to the Empire, but open to everyone else. You'll harbor our enemies, Vexmora said. We'll harbor refugees, Chen corrected. People seeking a better life. If that makes them your enemies, perhaps you should ask why so many want to leave your empire. Vexmora cut the communication. She sat in her command chair, staring at the Starkiller weapon. The ultimate power, made useless by the threat of mutual annihilation. Supreme? Her second asked. Your orders? She thought of the chaos spreading through the empire, the rebellions that grew stronger every day, the fleet that was needed elsewhere, the quantum devices hidden in their suns like poison pills. Turn us around, she ordered. Return to Korthax Prime. And the Starkiller? Leave it, she said bitterly. It's useless now. Earth has made all our ultimate weapons useless. As the Omega fleet retreated, Vexmora sent one final message to Earth. This isn't over. Chen's reply was immediate. Yes, it is. You just don't realize it yet. The age of empires built on fear is ending. Something new is beginning. You can be part of it or you can fade into history. The choice is yours. The Empire fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving Earth's solar system for the last time. Behind them, the Star Killer weapon drifted alone in space, a monument to the day when mutual fear created an unexpected peace. 1 year had passed since the Empire's retreat from Earth. The galaxy had changed more in that year than in the previous century. Commander Vex'Allah, stripped of his rank and title after his defeat, now worked as a cargo pilot. It was humiliating for a former fleet commander, but it was better than execution, which had been the other option. He guided his small freight ship toward the coordinates he had been given. A neutral station in what used to be Empire space. The Zephyr system had declared independence 6 months ago, and now they operated a trading post where all species were welcome, even former Empire officers if they came in peace. As his ship docked, Vex'Allah saw something that would have been impossible a year ago. Empire species and former slave species working together. A Korthax engineer helping a Prelix merchant repair their ship. A Volanti doctor treating an injured Altari child. No guards, no chains, no fear. Vex'Allah, a familiar voice called. He turned to see Ambassador Kretok, also stripped of his title. What are you doing here? Same as you, I suspect, Kretok said. I was summoned for a meeting, though I don't know by whom. They were directed to a conference room in the station's center. Inside, they found others they recognized. Admiral Thrax, Supreme Vex Mora, even some former slaves they had once commanded. And at the head of the table, a holographic projection of General Patricia Chen from Earth. Thank you all for coming, Chen said. I know this is unusual, but we have a proposition. We don't take orders from Earth, Vex Mora said, though her voice lacked its old authority. I'm not giving orders, Chen replied. I'm offering an opportunity. The Empire is collapsing. You all know this. 300 worlds have declared independence. Your fleet is scattered, your economy is in ruins. Within another year, the Galactic Empire will exist only in history books. Thanks to you, Admiral Thrax said bitterly. No, Chen said. Thanks to the Empire's own choices. We just gave people options. They chose freedom. But that's not why I asked you here. The collapse of the Empire has created a problem. 300 independent worlds, no trade agreements, no common laws, no way to resolve disputes. The galaxy is heading toward chaos. And you want to rule it? Vex Mora asked. Chen laughed. Earth, rule the galaxy? We don't even want to leave our solar system. No, we want something else. We want to help build something new. Not an empire, but a federation. A galactic government where every species has equal voice, equal rights, equal opportunities. Impossible, Vex'Allah said. The strong will always dominate the weak. Will they? Chen asked. Earth was weak by your standards. We had no fleet, no FTL drives, no galactic presence. But we stopped you. Not through strength, but through intelligence, preparation, and cooperation. Imagine what the galaxy could achieve if all species worked together instead of one dominating the others. A new figure entered the room. Not a hologram, but a real presence. It was a human. But something was different about him. He moved with a strange grace, and his eyes held depths that seemed impossible. I am Ambassador Marcus Stone, he said. I'm here in person to show Earth's commitment to this idea. You traveled from Earth? Kretok asked in surprise. But that would take 3 days, Stone said. We developed FTL drive 6 months ago. We reverse-engineered your technology, improved it, made it more efficient. A gift from studying your Empire's transmissions for 2 centuries. The room fell silent. Earth had FTL capability now. They could leave their system whenever they wanted. But we're not using it for conquest, Stone continued. We're using it for this. To help build something better. The Federation we're proposing would have its capital here, in neutral space. Each member world would send representatives. Decisions would be made by vote, not by force. And what of the Empire loyalists? Thrax asked. There are still 50 worlds that remain loyal to the old ways. They can join when they're ready, Stone said. Or remain independent. No one will be forced. That's the point. The Federation will defend its members but never conquer. It will facilitate trade but never demand tribute. It will offer help but never require servitude. Vex Mora stood up. You're asking us to betray everything we believed in. No, Chen said gently. We're asking you to evolve. The Empire's way led to constant rebellion. Constant fear, constant violence. Is that really the legacy you want? Or would you rather be remembered as the generation that helped build lasting peace? Why include us at all? Vexella asked. We were your enemies. Because you know the Empire better than anyone, Stone explained. You know its strengths and weaknesses. You know the species involved, their needs, their fears. We need that knowledge to build something that works for everyone. And honestly, we believe people can change. Even former conquerors can become builders. Over the next hours, they discussed the proposal in detail. A constitution that protected individual rights. A military force drawn from all members used only for defense. Trade agreements that benefited everyone, not just the powerful. It was radically different from everything the Empire had represented. There's something else, Stone said near the end. Earth is offering technology packages to all founding members of the Federation. Medical advances that can extend lifespans. Agricultural techniques that can end hunger. Energy systems that can power entire worlds cleanly. Everything we developed during our 2 centuries of preparation. Just giving it away? Vexella asked in disbelief. Sharing it, Stone corrected. That's what a Federation does. The stronger members help the weaker ones, knowing that someday the situation might be reversed. 3 months later, the Galactic Federation was officially formed. 150 worlds signed the charter on the first day. Earth, despite being offered the leadership role, chose to be simply one voice among many. They provided technology and guidance, but refused any special authority. Vexella found himself appointed as a military advisor, helping design the Federation Defense Force. His knowledge of Imperial tactics proved invaluable in creating strategies to protect against any remaining Empire holdouts. Kretok became a diplomat, using his understanding of multiple species to help negotiate trade agreements. Even Vex Mora, the most resistant to change, eventually accepted a position in the Federation Council, though she often argued for stronger military policies. The signing ceremony was held on the same neutral station where they had first met. Representatives from hundreds of worlds attended. As the charter was signed, General Chen gave a speech that was broadcast across the galaxy. Today we end the age of empires, she said. No more will single species dominate others. No more will might make right. Today we begin the age of cooperation. It won't be easy. We'll have disagreements, conflicts, challenges, but we'll face them together as equals. The last to sign was a surprising figure. The Emperor himself, the ancient Korthax who had ruled for 3 centuries, arrived unannounced. Age had finally caught up with him, and he walked slowly to the signing table. I built an empire on fear, he said, his voice weak but clear. I thought it would last forever. Earth proved me wrong. Perhaps this new way deserves a chance. He signed the charter with a shaking hand, officially dissolving the Galactic Empire and recognizing the Federation. As celebrations began, Vexella found himself standing next to Ambassador Stone, looking out at the stars. Did Earth plan this all along? He asked. The Federation? Stone smiled. We planned to survive. Everything else grew from that. We studied your empire and asked ourselves, what would work better? How could species cooperate without conquest? The Federation was our answer. And if it fails, then we'll try something else, Stone said. That's what humans do. We adapt, we learn, we keep trying. But I don't think it will fail. Look around you. Vexella looked. He saw former enemies laughing together, former slaves teaching former masters, children of different species playing while their parents planned a shared future. Your transformation of the galaxy is complete, Vexella said. No, Stone corrected. It's just beginning. Earth lit the match, but the fire of freedom burns on its own now, and that fire will light the galaxy for generations to come. A year later, only 5 worlds remained outside the Federation, stubborn holdouts clinging to the old imperial ways. But they were isolated, irrelevant. The galaxy had moved on without them. Earth opened its first embassy on another world, though they still maintained their protective shields and defensive systems. Trust would take time to build fully, but human teachers, doctors, and engineers began traveling the galaxy, sharing knowledge freely. The quantum devices in the suns remained, a silent reminder of the price of aggression. But they were never activated. They didn't need to be. The Federation's combined fleet, using Earth's defensive technologies, was more than capable of protecting member worlds. And in the history books that would be written about this time, they would call it the Human Revolution. Not because humans conquered the galaxy, but because they showed the galaxy how to free itself. Earth had proclaimed no entry to the Empire, but had opened the door to something far greater. A future where every species could thrive in freedom and peace.